it's very important that you start looking through back and seeing what does your mom's energy represent. Just even if you like close your eyes for a while, like, what is my mom's energy? Like, what is it? What does it? If you were to describe your mom in like 3, 4, 5 words, but kind of in the mind, but after you perceive that energy, like what would it be, right? And then you do the same for the father. Like, what does the father represent? And that's where you will see a problem. Because let's say if you say my mom represents active, my father represents passive, it's a problem. Because it's already some issue with masculinity, femininity inside. If you say my mom represents chaos, okay, so that replica of chaos is somewhere still there inside. Or if my mom represents complaint, my mom represents what? Dissatisfied, whatever you come up with, right? Or if your mom is worried about something, my mom represents worry. Now you know what worry is, right? You know whose worry it is, because we're already speaking about it in the stomach and all. Now, oh, but it's still my mom. Yeah, your mom is an image. What about that energy? Do you like that energy of worry? No. So that's where you start severing. That's not attractive to me. I let go of it. And so you can also do the particular pattern, like when you do from the maternal side, I release the energy of worry. I burn it. I burn the energy of worry and release it into the fire of eternal, or whatever, eternal fire, right? Primordial fire. I release the energy of passivity, whichever way, but just go into details, like how, like, what is that passivity of the father in the critical moment? Or is it like in the conflict resolution? Like, define it very clearly, because then you will start seeing, do you possess that feature too? Does it haunt you from time to time? Do you kind of feel like lost in some moments because you become passive in the moment where you're supposed to be active? Conflict resolutions also, maybe some, I don't know, some decision making, let's say, right? So was your father good at decision making? And all these questions you answer to yourself. And sometimes you might even realize that you don't even know them very well, because you haven't really mapped out that energy. What do they actually represent even in you? Like, you are comprised of feminine and masculine, and okay, this is energy. Like me as a man, like now I'm balanced, okay, like masculine, feminine balance, now in meditative state. But as I interact with the world, let's say, when I interact with a woman, how do I interact? Who am I? There, mother, father, what? And again, I'm not mother, father, I'm energy. Because mother is also feminine, masculine, and father is masculine, feminine. How did these energies clash? How did they interact? What was the result of that interaction? So all of these things, it's like you're sitting in meditation and tuning into that energy to understand. You need to really, really connect to that energy. Like, and then perceive how that connection makes you feel. For example, you connect to your mother. What is coming? What is that energy? What is attractive and not attractive in that energy? Because what's attractive is causing attraction, right? It's sexualization. And what's not attractive, you actually reject, but it's still there. So you need to sever the cord with that energy within you. Find, especially if it's positive qualities, it's okay, but I'm talking about negative qualities. It's a dark side of the mother and the father's energy that we sexualize. That's what I'm talking about. The some kind of a negative content which is connected to love, to the idea of love. For example, mother hugs you, hey, I love you. For a moment, you're like, oh, because love is opening, right? You open. And then, hey, why did you throw your boots over there? Boom. Now you associate love with what? With also like nagging, criticism. So now separate that. Okay, love, you accept, hug, but that other energy is not sexual, not attractive anymore. So you will stop having that. And once you learn the lesson that that is not attractive, I do not accept certain things, you start communicating different energy. People will stop behaving with you in a certain way also, even your spouse. And the same they will do. They will look at the energy of the mother and the father. What does the mother represent? Like we were doing that yesterday. What did the mother represent for that person? For her, for example. And if there was trauma or neglect, it would be like, I love them, I want to save them, but they represent some kind of tragedy or some kind, okay, if it's not tragedy, but like a shock, like a fear to lose, or I don't know what that's like, because again, she will be working on her own side, whatever that represents for her. So, like, for example, if mother represents betrayal, what do we expect from personal life? If mom was gossiping, let's say, to people about you, what does it represent in your life? Then your friends, let's say if you're a woman, your girlfriends can also do the same. They'll be betraying, they'll be gossiping. If it's a man, then the spouse would be betraying, gossiping, belittling. Very easy. Or if the father was not there, then there will be always fantasizing about the man, never having real connection, never having, or I don't know, connecting to men who are kind of like not expressive or not doing anything. Like a lot of women nowadays are in love with the fantasy, and also the man. That's why Tinder is there and all these dating apps, because people are just like, they're like, yeah, we talk from time to time, like once in 3 months. Like, is this a relationship? No, it's a fantasy. It's called limerence in psychology. So, but in order to heal from this, we really need to go into this, what every person in your life actually represents energetically. And what are you ready to put up with and not? And once you start raising your self-worth, I'm not saying to be egotistical, it's just that you just do not allow certain energies. That's it. You do not allow disrespect. And if you're very selective, okay, I don't allow disrespect from my co-workers, but I allow disrespect from my spouse. It shouldn't be like that. Or I allow disrespect from my child. No, it shouldn't be like that. Or I allow disrespect from this particular friend because they're nice to me and they gave me something. No, because, if you respect yourself, you should respect yourself at all times. And dictate that respect, not by being tyrannical or fear-mongering, but more like just, I respect you and I dictate the same respect. Or, So try this mental exercise. In terms of also, so there are two things you try. One is learning to withdraw the energy, like really feeling completely focused is internalized. Can you do this? Okay, now you are looking at me. Try to withdraw within from me. Good. So you understand what it means, right? So it's more internalizing. It's like you don't give power to the person anymore. Kind of almost you're doing it. So imagine like you were giving attention. Attention is also energy, right? But now you withdraw this. Doesn't matter. I don't matter to you now. So you also become a very good father and therapist and boss when you learn to withdraw from people, because then you see their true face. When like I cannot be therapist, let's say a psycho-spiritual therapist, whatever therapist, healer, if I don't know how to contain my energy, because I need to contain my energy, so you start reflecting yourself, like I'm a mirror. So it's like, maybe you can feel like the moment you withdraw, you start being more interested, you understand? Or you start being more kind of like tuned in. Like, meaning, if I withdraw energy from you, you will start suddenly being more interested in talking to me. Kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the body. Suddenly you can feel more energy. See, I just withdrew for a second. That's, you're always like, oh, okay, I'm more attentive now. So that's the point. So if you, now you have to learn to withdraw. Learn to withdraw, like that doesn't matter now. Like something that completely doesn't matter. Like, I don't know, for example, you're interested in boats. Like, okay, boats now don't matter. Like, I matter, my life matters, my like it's not withdrawal from particular, it's just withdrawal from everything. It's a completely, I just contain myself. And now, once you withdraw completely, you know, now meditation, because it instantly brings you into the meditative state. And then when you give attention, that's fully concentration outward. So if I withdraw now completely, so the body starts moving, the energy starts moving, because the energy is totally internalized, you see? That's why kriyas occur, because you completely, your focus is completely on your body. Completely, like at that moment, nobody exists but you. And this is how you contain power, conceal power. But you can do it on daily basis, like temporarily. You want to know, for example, and you can, especially it's easy to do with the beloved ones, because you're all emotionally connected. The moment you will withdraw your attention, they'll start like, hey, what are you doing? What is going on? Like they'll start dragging you, you know, because it's the energy. You know, suddenly you're the most important person in the world, especially if there is emotional connection. I'm not saying to use this for manipulation, but sometimes you need to do it, because otherwise you cannot replenish. It's like deep sleep. If you don't have deep sleep equals absorption. That's why Sufis talk about sleep. They withdraw. So if you go into this withdrawal, it's like you totally within yourself, you're like in deep sleep, this yoga nidra. Deep sleep. Yoga nidra means yoga of sleep, meaning like you're in that deep state. At that moment, I always switch off the phone. I don't care, because, and it's always when I get out of meditation, someone called me. It's because your internal withdrawal will be felt by people who are connected emotionally to you. And people who are not emotionally connected, but there is still some kind of mental connection. You also, for example, sometimes if you feel that there is a stagnancy in your life, like some business or something, withdraw your attention from there. Say, you know what, life will just, that's called surrender. You see, surrender is exactly that which is called withdrawal. Withdrawal of energy. Once you learn to withdraw and to give in a conscious way, you become a master of energy. Meaning, you know who you are, because you are also an energy and frequency, and you know how to interact in a healthy and proper way with other energies. So absorption means you've learned to withdraw it from any aspect or element of projected reality. And when you project it, you project it in a very concentrated way, so it gives results. If something doesn't work your way or doesn't go, there is a saying, surrender. Surrender means letting the flow of life take it, free from your constant participation, mental concentration. And that way, you allow things to kind of arrange in a more organic way. And then you suddenly bring your attention, oh, things got resolved on their own, or solution came on its own, or someone suggested something. You could be just in meditation for 2 hours, 3 hours, and already life took this with the flow and something got resolved. Somebody suddenly called you, suggested this, that, done. This is how to operate in life, including surrendering worry, surrendering fear. When you feel something in the solar plexus, in any part of the body, you know, you take that focus from there into your essence, into yourself. You know, I'll think about it later. It's okay. Just instantly things change, just shift. Because you don't feed that energetic cluster, be it a small or a big one. Because the more you give it energy in the form of emotions and thoughts, the more it grows and the stronger it attacks you or reminds of itself. The more you withdraw, you don't give any story, it just dissolves. That's how you learn to absorb negative energy into your own higher frequency. So you're not just absorbing into yourself, but you can also transmute that which was supposedly negative or hurtful or painful. So there are two methods. One is to repel and one is to absorb and transmute. The second one is most difficult because it requires a lot of mastery, self-mastery, understanding energy, projection, withdrawal, absorption, and the contrary would be participation. So when you learn that, you start seeing the world differently and perceiving it too. You start seeing what you're interacting with. And then you're more tuning in with actual free will, because the more you're attuned to energy, the wider your range of consciousness or awareness is, right? And the more choice you have, the freer your will is, because you see options. We become very limited when we see only few options. When we expand consciously and see ourselves in a more, like, let's say, not fully unlimited, but wider range of spectrum, we see that life is offering more options. And the more you have options, the more confident you feel, because you know that life is not limited to this or to that. And that's how you heal from rigidity, from the social madness, and go into more enlightened perspective. Enlightened perspective means a wider range of awareness, becoming more flexible, more flowing, more accepting, neither accepting nor rejecting, sometimes believing, seeing this for what it is, neither believing nor disbelieving. Seeing things through just one moment of circumstance. Okay, in this circumstance, I do this and that. Fluidity. That's mental health. That's emotional alignment, mental alignment, intellectual. The more rigidity, the more mental sickness and imbalances are there. The more misaligned the person is, because rigidity is the sign of misalignment. And so when you learn this energetic kind of a mastery, where you are at the core, and you learn also to identify the fundamental archetypes, which are parental, which are energies. Stop sexualizing them as energies. Learn to detect the actual frequency of love, and then the toxic residue or something which is very limited, and learn to disconnect from that, defining it as not very attractive. not something that you need to pursue, not connected to real love, because you did, everyone received some form of love, but then it was always mixed with toxicity. So you learn to disconnect from these energies by considering them no longer attractive. And that's how you start taking more and more power back, by really, really prioritizing the energy of well-being. The energy of love is the energy of well-being. The energy of natural being or higher being or absorption is that energy of love. And when you are aligned, you are like, you are love. Now you're just a vessel of love. And then when you're a vessel of love, you are like a container of power. And now you consciously decide, through your level of humility, through your level of spiritual intelligence, how you utilize that energy, right? If you're not enough humble, if you're not enough wise and spiritually intelligent, you might still misuse, you might still go into some kind of misalignments here and there. But once you're completely aligned and in the state of surrender to the higher being, to the high intelligence, you are just love. And you will see everyone's behavior, everyone's emanation, everyone's energetic imprint for what it is. Of course, it's your choice, because of course we're living in the world and we need to engage sometimes with energies, but you will engage with them in such a wise way where there is no loss. There is only the reciprocation is pursued. One-sidedness, energetic imbalances are not participated in. So in that way, you will learn the power of real, authentic communication, but energetically, you will support only that degree of involvement and giving which is required, which is reciprocated, so that the balance is always maintained. Because after all, this all life and creation just about balance. So that's the science of kind of being a part of creation in an organic, harmonious, spiritually kind of content way, aligned way, you know?